It dates back to 1927 when the first World Championship was held in Birmingham. And a lot of people, I suppose, when you think of great winners of the World Championship, Stephen Hendry and Steve Davis is thrown in there, but Joe Davis was the first real legend of the World Championship.
Yeah, and his place in the history books is not just confined to winning it, which he did 15 times in a row. He also essentially started it. He was the driving force between actually getting a professional tournament on, because in those days the leading cue sport was billiards, and the sort of billiards community were very sniffy towards snooker, which they saw as a bit of an upstart. Yeah. So the fact that he got it on, the trophy that is still presented to this day, he went out and bought using half the entry fees. So he's a very important figure, and the amazing thing about him, of course, is he had no one to learn from. You look at the players now. You can turn on the TV. If you're a young player now, you can study Ronnie, Hendry, all these people. He didn't have anyone who even to go and watch live. So he had to sort of learn. His father ran a pub where there was a snooker table, and he and his brother Fred learned to play on that. And he was definitely a very important figure, and thankfully lived just long enough to see the World Championship go to the Crucible in the late 70s. He actually saw the start of that. So he would have seen the sort of start of the real television age.
Yeah, Joe Davis, what a record, 15 in a row. That's pretty impressive when you actually say that, regardless of the era and the standard. That's impressive in any era.
Yeah, it's fair to say it was a very different tournament. I mean, several years there's only two people in it, him and the challenger. So obviously he didn't have the competition that they have now, but he still had to win, and he never lost in the World Championship. Eventually retired. And his brother Fred, started winning it, and others. I mean, snooker in those days, was not in a great position. There was no prize money because there was no television, or the television there was black and white. And obviously snooker, you kind of need colour to follow it. But things changed, with Pot Black in 1969, and the interest in the 70s, particularly regarding Alex Higgins and all of that. I'm sure people know eventually a sort of boom happened in the 80s in Britain. But it's important to say that, that was pretty much only Britain and Ireland then. What's happening now is that you're getting a lot of interest, as we've already mentioned, from other parts of the world, and that's obviously important if you want the game to be global.
Yeah, very important, and it's vital for the growth of the game.